All right. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to another episode of Bet the Beach Live. Today's date is July 3rd, 2024, and let me be the first to wish you all a very happy, healthy, safe, and fun July 4th, Independence Day, in this great nation of ours. I'm recording this one a few days before. I will be, as this airs, taking the camper, taking Sweaty Betty, up Route 95 into vacation land, deep Maine, a nice little town called Solon, Maine, where we'll be off-grid camping with some of our best friends and family for a couple of days. So I want to wish you all a very happy and safe and healthy Independence Day, and I really hope you guys do get to enjoy yours as I will mine. What we're going to do today is a special episode, and today is your preview, primer, all around, cheat sheet, spark notes, if you're so inclined, for the 2024 Paris Olympics in beach volleyball. As we sit here today, July 3rd, 2024, we are 24 days away from the start of pool play at the beach volleyball Olympics in Paris, France. What will ensue is 8 days of pool play. So they had the drawing of lots this past Friday. Pool play announcement. I'm recording this immediately after the drawing of the lots. We have the pools. Let's take a look. Let's start on the women's side. Pool A, Brazil, Italy, Spain, and Egypt. AP and Duda, the number one seed overall. They should take this pool. Tough pool, though. Gottardi and Menegatti, very, very good team. I think it's a pretty easy to see a situation here where Egypt is the team that drops from this pool and the other three seeds continue. I wouldn't expect Spain to get one of those two secured spots into the round of 16, so they're probably fighting in a lucky loser round of 18 match from Pool A. Pool B, I think, has to be the pool of death. TKN, the number one seed in Pool B, with a very unlucky draw here. You got Olympians up and down the lineup here. China's Zhu and Jia, the defending bronze medalists from Australia, Maria Fay and Clancy, as well as one of the legends of the game, Heather Bansley, and her new partner, Sophie Bukovic from Canada, getting that continental bid. They slide into Pool B there. So a very tough draw for TKN. They are playing very, very, very good volleyball at the moment, so they should break Pool here, but nothing's guaranteed here. The team you'd expect to fall off here would be Canada, but I wouldn't say that's definitely a lock. We haven't seen a lot out of Australia over the last 4 or 5 months. I think fighting back from an injury there for Maria Fay. So we'll see what happens in Pool B, but Pool B definitively the pool of death. Unlucky draw for TKN. You got Olympians up and down the lineup in Pool B. Pool C, the other USA team, Kelly Chang, Sarah Hughes, lead that pool, number one overall seed in that pool. They have the Germans, Mueller and Tillman. They have the French wild card, Vieira and Chamarou. And the Chechian group of Hermanova and Stoklova took that bid from the Netherlands when they didn't want it. So a tough pool there as well, I would say. One of the tougher ones, and I think you probably expect either France or Czechia to drop out. Following pool play there, I think Kelly and Sarah and that German team, virtual locks there, direct into the round of 16. Pool D, Canada, the number one seed, Mel and Brandy lead that one. They draw Tina Anastasia from Latvia. They draw the Swiss second pair of Esme and Zoe, as well as the Paraguayan continental berth, the team that you'd expect to drop out of that pool. I think Mel and Brandy and either Latvia or Switzerland take that the 2 spot in that pool, and then it's a question of whether or not Esme and Zoe can grab one of the secured spots in the round of 16, or if they're fighting in that lucky loser. Pool E, Barbara and Carol are the headliners here. Stama and Shkun get the 2 seed. This is a tough pool as well. A very tough Lithuania team and a tough Japanese team as well. So I think Barbara and Carol, Stama and Shkun fight for the top spot, and then it's between Lithuania and Japan to get the second spot and to advance beyond pool play into that round of 16 or round of 18. The final pool, Pool F, headlined by the wild card, Placette and Richard. I shouldn't say that. Wild card. They actually get They qualify via points, and then because they are from the host nation, they get to headline a pool, which is pretty interesting, I would say, and actually probably a fortunate draw for Switzerland, Huberli and Brunner. They get to be the second team in the pool, and they are probably your odds-on favorite to come out of that pool. Spain's Alvarez and Moreno qualifying via points, and then the legend Laura Ludwig and her partner, indoor convert Louisa Lippmann, are the final team in Pool F. Look for Switzerland and Germany to break pool there, and then it's between France and Spain for who grabs that last spot. I would say the two guaranteed round of 16 third-place finishers, if you look at this, one comes out of that pool of death in Pool B, and the other one probably comes out of Pool D, either Latvia or Switzerland. Let's look at the men's side very quickly. Pools just announced, as I said, for the 2024 Beach Volleyball Olympics in Paris, France. Your first pool and your number one overall seed goes to Sweden's Jonathan Helvig and David Amon. They are joined by Italy's Nikolai and Kautafava, Qatar's Sharif and Ahmed, and then the Australian team getting that continental berth, qualifying their second team into Pool A. I think Australia is the team there that you would expect to drop off, but I think that we have seen times where Qatar could have a lapse, and Australia is a good team, but I think you probably expect Australia to be the team that drops off after pool play there. In Pool B, the Volley Vikings, Mol and Sarum are your number one seed. They're joined by Van de Velde and Immers from the Netherlands, Italy's Rangieri and Karambula, and Chile's Grimalt and Grimalt qualifying via that South American continental bid. Very tough pool here in Pool B. I'm interested to see what Adrian Karambula, Mr. Skyball, can do. It's been probably a down 6 to 8 months for them. I think they're battling injury as well. I think your top two teams in this pool definitely advance, and that's Norway and the Netherlands. And then it's a fight between Italy and Chile for who gets into that round of 16, round of 18 there. And that's probably a round of 18 lucky loser berth for whoever comes in third in that Pool B. In Pool C, the Germans, Ehrers and Wickler, they're the ones leading the pack. They're joined by Poland's Brill and Loziak. Australia's Hodges and Schubert qualified via points. And then the French team of Bassarau and Lenil, they are the continental qualifiers for Europe. In Pool D, George and Andre are the headliners. The first American team we'll mention on the men's side, Miles Partain and Andy Benish, the second seed in Pool D. Cubas Diaz and Aleo qualified via points, had an amazing tear here in the beginning of 2024, winning consecutive medals and contenders, and then an Elite 16 event 3 in a row. The final team in Pool D is Morocco. Morocco is the team in Pool D that, unfortunately, you're going to expect to play pool play and then head home. Brazil, USA, and Cuba advance out of Pool D. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Pool D that sends one of the two berths directly to that round of 16 and avoids the lucky loser. In Pool E, you have Czechia's Peruzic and Schweiner. They were your defending world champions. That's how they earned their bid. That's how they headline Pool E. They're joined by Brazilians Evandro and Arthur, Austria's Horl and Horst, and then the continental qualifiers for the North American continent, Sam Schachter and Dan Deering from Canada. And I don't think it's necessarily a definite that Canada heads home after a pool play. I think Austria's Horl and Horst are a little vulnerable there. I think the Canadians could sneak into a lucky loser match come August 4th, and I think they could send Austria home there. So I'd be keeping an eye on that. I think that's probably a toss-up there, but it's Czechia and Brazil that definitively advance out of Pool E, and then it's a battle between Austria and Canada for who comes out of that last spot in Pool E. The final pool headlined by the French berth, Krau and Gauthier-Rat. They are your, I guess, continental qualifiers, and the other team would be the wild card is probably how you're going to characterize that, although it's a little confusing there. So French team headlines a pool that is joined by the Dutch pairing of Stefan Bormans and Jorik de Groot. In my mind, they are probably going to be one of the better odds to win gold in Paris, or I guess a good value odds to win gold in Paris. I don't think anybody thinks they have a chance at it, and I think the way they're playing right now, they do. They're joined in Pool F by Spain's Herrera and Gavira, and the final USA team, Miles Evans and Chase Budinger. I think this pool is really, really up for grabs. I think Boermans and de Groot take the number 1 overall seed, and then I think any one of the next 3 spots is up for grabs. I think France could win it. I think Spain could win it, and I think Chase and Miles can win it. But a fortunate 2024 started months ago when Chase and Miles were able to win that Continental qualifier to send them to Norseca. That set the dominoes in motion that got them headed to Paris here in about 24 days from now. And Chase and Miles, their good fortune, good luck continues. They get the easiest pool on the men's side by a pretty wide margin and have a pretty good opportunity there to advance into the round of 16. I think your 2 definite round of 16s from your 3 seeds, I think one comes out of Pool B. It's either Italy or Chile. And I think your other one could either come out of Pool D in Cuba or the USA, or it could come out of Pool A in Italy or Qatar. I think the teams headed home are Australia in Pool A. Don't know in Pool B. It could be Italy or Chile. In Pool C, I think it's probably France that heads home. In Pool D, that would be Morocco heading home. Pool E, like I said, could be Austria or Canada. Either one of those teams headed home after pool play. And then Pool F, I think that one's very much up for grabs. I think either Spain or France heads home. I think the Dutch team takes the 1 seed, and I think Miles Evans and Chase Budinger, believe it or not, get the 2 seed out of that pool, and they advance to play in the round of 16 come August 5th. The schedule has been announced. What we have is 8 days of pool play from Paris. At no point during the 15 days of beach volleyball at the Olympics will 2 events be happening at once. 2 matches, 2 beach volleyball matches. Each match is a standalone match held at the Eiffel Tower Stadium at the base of the Eiffel Tower, an absolutely iconic venue for beach volleyball. On the 27th, pool play will start with 6 matches. Pools have been broken down into 24 teams, 6 pools of 4 teams each. Round-robin style, every team plays every other team in their pool. So over the course of those 8 days from July 27th through August 3rd, we will have a total of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 76 matches. And on August 3rd, 6 of them will be your final pool play matches, and then you'll get your 4 round of 18 matches. We'll get into that in a little bit. So what you have is you have 76 minus 4, 72 games of pool play starting on July 27th and ending in the middle of the day on August 3rd. All teams play every other team in their pool. If you finish first or second in your pool, you advance into the round of 16. You are safe. If you finish last in your pool, if you are the 4th team in your pool, you go home. You have been disqualified from the tournament. You do not get to advance and play on. It is the teams that finish 3rd in their pools where it gets interesting. The top 2 teams, the top 2 third-place finishing teams in their pools are safe. Those are your 13 and 14 seeds heading into the round of 16. Those 2 teams are safe in each gender. They'll be in the right directly into that round of 16. The following 4 teams, the 15, the 16, the 17, and the 18. So that is the 4th, the 2nd through 6th teams, and the 3rd place finishing teams in their pools. So if you finish 3rd in your pool, it means that you are advancing to the round of 18 at a minimum, and if you're the top 2 3rd place finishing teams, you're directly into the round of 16. On August 3rd, after the conclusion of those final 6 pool play matches, we will have our first 4 elimination games, and those are so-called lucky loser matches. We call them the round of 18. So you'll have 4 of those matches, 2 men, 2 women. Losers, again, go home. The winners are your final 2 seeds in the round of 16. They become your 15 and 16 seeds. And now we get into the elimination style, single elimination for the following few days of the tournament. August 4th and August 5th probably might be the 2 funnest days on the beach volleyball calendar of this entire year. On August 4th, you have 8 round of 16 matches. August 5th, same thing, 8 round of 16 matches, all elimination style. They begin at 9 o'clock in the morning local time, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and then I think it's 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Now, let me go very briefly into the times for these because I'm a guy that doesn't do time zones very well, so I'm going to try to do you a favor and do a little conversions. As I always do, Bet the Beach Live on 9 p.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. What we're going to do is we're going to take Paris time, Eastern time, West Coast time, Pacific time for all these. So for your pool play matches, you get 10 matches per day, every day with the exception of the first day. That's the Saturday. Friday night is the opening ceremonies. Saturday afternoon, the games get going. You only have 6 matches on the 27th. But starting on the 28th and for the following 7 days, you have 10 matches per day. First match of the day, local time, 9 a.m. Paris time. That's 3 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific, so midnight if you're on the West Coast there. They have matches at 9, 10, 11, and 12 Paris time. Then they take the break for lunch. If you're on the East Coast, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6 a.m. If you're on the West Coast, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So if you're a hardcore beach volleyball fan and you're expecting to watch multiple consecutive days of pool play from the Olympics, you better get your sleeping done in the middle of the day because you're up from midnight till noon each day on the West Coast. Probably the worst, I would say, the worst conversion, Paris to West Coast. And unfortunately, that's where the bulk of our beach volleyball fans are from. That's the mecca for beach volleyball in this country, but is what it is there. So pool play, 9, 10, 11, and 12 local time in Paris in the mornings. They take a break. Then they go 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and 5 p.m. East Coast, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. West Coast, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So if you're West Coast and you don't want to be too hardcore, sleep through the night, get up early, you're at least going to get the final 6 matches of pool play each day. The final matches of the day, again, another break for dinner between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., or I guess technically 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., 2-hour break there, just like they have for lunch. And then the final 3 matches of the day from Paris, under the lights, under the Eiffel Tower, in pool play, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., local time in Paris. That's 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 11 a.m., 12 p.m., high noon, and 1 p.m. on the West Coast. So as I said, pool play, 8 days from Paris, 72 matches, gets you to the round of 18. The round of 18 is held on that August 3rd. And then, as I said, probably my favorite 2 days in the calendar of them all, 8 matches, back-to-back, to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back. On August 4th and August 5th, that's your round of 16, all elimination matches. On August 6th, 4 matches that day, quarterfinals, men's and women's mixed together. The following day, August 7th, 4 matches, quarterfinal matches, men's and women's mixed together. So now you're down to 4 teams per gender, all the semifinal matches, and this would probably have another good argument for the day of the summer as far as beach volleyball goes. All 4 semifinal matches played on August 8th. And then August 9th, the 2 women's matches. You get your bronze medal match and your gold medal match. And then on August 10th, you have your men's bronze medal match and then your men's gold medal match. So what does that all mean? You have 15 days, 108 standalone beach volleyball matches with the 24 best teams in the world per gender. Just an absolute embarrassment of riches when it comes to the best beach volleyball that you can expect. And it happens once every 4 years, and it's going to happen in an iconic venue at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, the 24 best teams in the world. What more could you ask for? Now, let's talk players. Let's talk teams. I'll be coming out with my updated odds to win, odds to podium. I think I'll probably also include like an odds to get a 5th place, so if you make the quarterfinals, and you bet on that player or that team, you can win that bet. We'll start with America. I think a lot of my fans here, if not all of them so far, most anyways, we've got a couple international Bet the Beach fans, appreciate you guys. We'll start on the American side. On the women's side, we have 2 of the best teams in the world, in Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes. Kelly Chang, the only returning Olympian for beach volleyball, I guess the only returning Olympian at all, of the two genders, men's and women's, of the 8 individuals that the USA is sending to Paris for beach volleyball. Kelly Chang in 2020 became 2021 due to COVID in Tokyo, playing with then partner Sarah Sponsel, switching partners, going back to her partner from earlier in her career, Sarah Hughes. Kellyanne Chang playing some amazing volleyball over the course of the last few years, and Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes, I think right now the 3rd best team in the world. You can fact check me on that. I think TKN has the number 2 spot, and Kelly and Sarah have the number 3 spot. So Kelly Chang, Sarah Hughes, and Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss, 2 of the best teams in the world, 2 of the top 3 teams in the world. And in my opinion, that's exactly where they should be, and that's exactly where they will be from a gambling perspective. Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss, only a couple years out of college. A couple years ago, as they came out of college, I remember listening to a podcast and hearing the great Nick Lucena saying those two, the only way that they're going to do it is they're going to need to split up. They're going to need to take a veteran partner on, play for a few years, gain the points, playing with a veteran. That veteran's points will get them into bigger, better tournaments. That'll accelerate their climb, and then maybe then you can get back together and make a run. And Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss want none of that. TKN staying together, won a futures event right away, got into a challenge, got into the qualifier challenge. I think they won the challenge out of the qualifier. This was a couple years ago, and they never looked back. They've won a few Elite 16s over the course of the last 2 years. They are incredibly fun to watch. Kristen Nuss, the small, undersized defender that is potentially the funnest player on the women's side to watch, in my opinion. Absolutely love watching Kristen Nuss play and win beach volleyball matches behind that big block of Taryn Kloth, the indoor converted to outdoors later in her career, and TKN a very good shot to medal for the United States. Other teams to watch on the women's side, medal contenders. Well, the number 1 team in the world and the odds-on favorite by a pretty good margin to take home gold come August 10th, 2024, is Brazil's Duda and Ana Patricia. Duda and AP have been the best team in the world now for 2 years, maybe 3 years in a row. Duda Lisboa, the best defender on tour, and Kristen Nuss might have something to say about that, but Duda Lisboa, I would say, has the resume to argue that she is the best defender in the world, arguably maybe the best player, beach volleyball player on the women's side in the world. Still young, still growing, still getting better, and potentially, we'll circle back here in 6-8 years. Has early in her career has an opportunity to potentially be one of the best of all time. Does Duda Lisboa, and her tall partner Ana Patricia, one of the best blockers on the tour. They are your odds-on favorite to win a gold in Paris, France, in the beach volleyball Olympics here coming up in about a month. Other contenders: Canada's Melissa Humana Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson. When they got together, we knew they were going to be a formidable threat. We knew that they were going to compete, contend, and challenge for a medal in Paris. Last year, 2023, part of the Olympic qualification, they had some good results. They won a gold at the Elite 16 in Montreal in their home country. I think beyond that result, I think the results may have been a little under what they had hoped for. And then they came out in 2024 and have performed incredibly. They won the Huntington Beach Open on the AVP right here. They've won at least one other gold or silver, I believe, on the World Tour in 2024. But Mel and Brandy playing some awesome volleyball. They are in the conversation, pretty good odds to medal come Paris. Other teams that you would be looking for to potentially have great odds to medal, the Netherlands, Stam and Schoen. Excellent volleyball team, a lot of fun to watch. The very, very tall block of Raisa Stam as a formidable threat, and Katja Schoen on defense there. Just a really, really fun team to watch. So they are in that medal conversation, as is Switzerland's Uberli and Brunner. And I think anybody would tell you that those are the top 6 teams right now, and I think it is a decent step down to get to that next level. I think Italy's Marta Menengatti and Valentina Gottardi, a team that I really like to watch, a team that struggles with consistency at times. I think they're probably in that next tier. Germany's Müller and Tillman are in that next tier. And there's a bunch of other teams that could contend on any given day, but I believe those top 6 teams that I mentioned, and there's a little step down. Then you got Italy and Germany, and then it's a whole laundry list of other teams. Laura Ludwig for Germany, she's been there before. She's got the experience. Oh, a team that has to be in your top 6, now top 7, is Brazil's Barbara and Carol. I think they have good odds to medal, I would say. I haven't put the odds together yet. Give me a couple more days on that. We're still, what are we, about 30 days away from the opening ceremony in Paris. Barbara and Carol have won medals at both levels, Challenge and Elite 16, and been consistent all the way through. And they have to be a good odds to medal here come Paris, sorry. And they would probably be, all right, so let's take it. So we got Brazil, Duda, and then Patricia. You got, I think I'm going to go Kelly and Sarah 2, TKN 3, Brandy and Mel for Canada 4, Brunner and Herberli 5, Stamskun 6, Barbara Carroll 7. So those are my top 7. And then I take a good step down, and then I got Gottardi Menengatti 8, Müller Tillman 9, and then maybe China's Zhu and Jia at the 10 spot before working your way down into the double digits. So that's your top 10 right now as far as odds goes. And once I put that list together, I'm going to remember that I missed a couple other good teams in that list there, and then we'll have to have another episode and talk about it some more. So that's your primer on the women's side. Look for a gold medal from Duda and Anna Patricia. Look for a silver from Kelly and Sarah. And then look for a bronze medal match between TKN and Brandy Mel, although it's not going to work out that way. Brunner and Herberli could be there. Barbara Carroll could be there. But those are definitely your top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 odds to win on the women's side in Paris. On the men's side, for your Olympic beach volleyball primer, let's start with the Americans. Miles Partain and Andy Benish had a string of tournaments in the middle of last summer through Stade and Ostrava. I think they went like bronze, silver, gold, or bronze, gold, silver, or just Elite 16, Elite 16, Elite 16 on the podium 3 times in a row. And no looking back at that point. They were locked in Olympic qualifiers. All they had to do was just keep adding on to results, and they did it, and they qualified. So the youngsters there, Miles Partain, Andy Benish, the jump-setting duo, makes their first Olympics on the men's side, and they are America's best chance to win a medal in Paris, France at the Olympics. No disrespect to Chase Budinger and Miles Evans. What they've done over the course of the last 16 months in the Olympic qualification quad is nothing short of amazing. They were not even on anybody's top 4 or 5 list as far as men's qualifying beach volleyball teams. I mean, if you looked at the beginning of the quad, which was Doha, would have been February 2023, you might have said, let's see, top of the list might have been Trevor and Theo. Miles and Andy were on there. Try and Kane would have been on there. Taylor and Taylor, I think, would have been on there. And then you get to Chase Budinger and Miles Evans as probably the 5th best odds to qualify for the Olympics. They defied all expectations, made an amazing run, capped off by that NORCECA qualification win over Trevor and Theo. We've talked about it all before. They went on to win that NORCECA. They passed Trevor and Theo right before the finish line. They held on, and the ex-NBA star, maybe I'm using that word a little too loosely, 5-6 year NBA, veteran, Chase Budinger, qualifies for the Olympics with his partner, Miles Evans, and the two of them are going to the Olympics. Now, I got there by saying no disrespect to them, but nobody in the world expects them to medal in these Olympics. They have not shown the ability at the Elite 16 level to podium, and they've had 16 months to do so, and they haven't done it yet. Could I be surprised, and could I see them sneak into the quarterfinals? I think that's their cap. I think if Chase Budinger and Miles Evans take a 5th, make it to the quarterfinals and bow out in the quarterfinals on August 6th or August 7th, I think that's a great result for Chase Buttinger and Miles Evans, and I think that's the absolute peak of what they're going to be able to do. Now, you never know what the matchups are going to be, and maybe they can, get hot at the right time. But I think Chase Buttinger and Miles Evans, I think their peak is probably a quarterfinal exit. And I'd probably be more expecting to see them bow out in the round of 16, but somewhere in the round of 16, round of 8, and that's a great performance for Chase Buttinger and Miles Evans. Back to Andy and Miles. Andy and Miles have shown the ability to win and win consistently, at least for a time, at that Elite 16 highest competition level. They did it in the middle of last summer. They had a little bit of a setback or a hiatus or whatever you want to call it at the beginning of this year, and then the last few tournaments have really ramped back up and been competitive again at that Elite 16 level. They are the USA's best chance to win a medal come Paris 30 days from now. Do I expect them to? I would say no. I think I would put them in maybe your 6th, 7th, or 8th best teams, best odds to win gold, best odds to win a medal in Paris. What teams are ahead of them? Sweden's David Amann and Jonathan Helvig are your favorites to win gold at the moment as it stands in Paris. Now you might ask, what happened to Norway's Anders Mol and Christian Sorum? They won in 2020, 2021 in Tokyo. They've been the best team in the world going on 7 years at this point. Well, Anders Mol fractured a bone in his foot, sat out, I think, 6 weeks with surgery. He showed back up in Ostrava a few weeks ago. I think they ended up taking a 4th, which is a great result for them on a, partially broken, rehabbed foot. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Anders Mol is going to do Anders Mol things, is what it is. But all that said, that and you combine that with the absolute domination success when Sweden enters an Elite 16, more often than not, they win that Elite 16, and that's been the case for going on 16 months, almost the entire duration of this Olympic quad. Sweden's Jonathan Helvig and David Amann are your pretty comfortable favorites to win gold in Paris in 2024 at the Beach Volleyball Olympics. Anders Mol and Christian Sorum, they're not too far off that, and they could beat, and they have beaten. We've seen it happen. They've beaten Sweden many times before. They haven't done it recently, but again, we got an injury to Anders Mol. He's recovering. If you get a gold medal match on the men's side, and it's between Sweden and Norway, you just sit back and you say, thank you, beach volleyball gods. Thank you, beach volleyball gods. We've gotten the match that we all deserved. We put our hearts and souls into the sport. We get up in the middle of the night. You on the West Coast, you're going to be getting up at midnight to watch the 9 a.m. games in Paris for 7 days straight here, late July, early August. We work hard for this too, right? We deserve this. And if you get Sweden, Norway in that gold medal match come August 10th, the beach volleyball gods are looking happily down on you, looking gratefully down on you, happy for your work. So Sweden, Norway are you 1-2, and they are in, I would say, a league of their own. The defending world champs from Czechia, Peruzic and Schweiner, they are your third, and they have been inconsistent at times, I would say. So they're a good step below the 1 and the 2. Can they beat either of those teams? They can, and they have, I believe. But their inconsistencies have gotten in the way at times. That the world champ run they had last year in the bull ring in Tlaxcala, Mexico last summer was very impressive. They dominated that entire tournament. So they can do it. The question is, can they put it together for 15 straight days? They'll be there come quarterfinals time, August 6th. Will they be there in the semis August 8th? I think they got a good chance for it. But they're your number 3 seed, and I think they're a good, solid 3 seed. I don't think anybody's gonna complain or have an issue with them sitting there at that 3 seed. Let's work our way down from there, shall we? And I would say your number 4 seed has to be Brazil's George and Andre. They've been good all year. They've won Elite 16s in Brazil earlier this season. I think it was March or April. Brasilia, I think, was the one that they won, although there's a couple Brazil tournaments there. and a Mexican tournament, and they played well in almost all of them right in a row. They've been incredibly consistent for the last 16 months during the entire quad. They've medaled consistently at that Elite 16 level. They've beat some of the best teams. They're an excellent team. They are, I would say, solidly in that number 4 spot as far as odds to win or odds to podium in Paris. Number 5, I'm going to then go with Germany's Niels Ehlers and Clemens Wickler. I've loved this team. I'm a big fan of this team. I got to be up close and personal watching them play Italy's Carambula and Rangieri in that Montreal Elite 16 last August. That was a fun match. I think Carambula and Rangieri won it barely, but Germany's been great. Germany's been great for a while. They've been consistent too. The thing about Germany that I will say is, weirdly, they're one of those weird teams where I think their odds to win gold and their odds to podium, they're in a different spot. And what do I mean by that? Well, right now we just said I'm putting them at the 5th best odds right now to podium. They might be as far down as 6, 7, or 8 as far as odds to win gold. For example, a team like USA's Miles Partain and Andy Benesch, which we're going to get to here in a minute, that's a team that I would put as better odds to win gold and worse odds to podium than Germany's Niels Ehlers and Clemens Wickler, because Clemens and Wickler have shown the ability to be there and consistently be there come a semifinal Saturday, or come a survival Saturday, come a semifinal Sunday. They have not shown the ability to get over the top and win that gold. So as far as Clemens and Wickler go, I think they're probably in that 5 spot, but as far as odds to win gold, they probably duck down a few spots. Beyond that, let's get to the Dutch team of Jorik de Groot and Stefan Bormans. That's a team that paired up, not at the beginning of the quad, but kind of in the middle of the 2023 season, several months into the beginning of the quad. And they've been nothing short of spectacular. Their run effectively knocked out Alexander Brouwer and Robbie Mewison, a team that was almost guaranteed an Olympic spot. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Mia's playing with her Frisbee over here. Mia, girl, come here. Well, come say hi. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Come here. This is Mia right here. She's looking for somebody to say hello to. There she is. Where was I? So, Jorik de Groot, Stefan Bormans, the Dutch pair. So, where are we at? We're at Sweden. We got Norway. We got Czechia. We got George and Andre. We got Clemens Wickler. And now we're going to go to Bormans and de Groot. I think they're your 6th best team as far as odds to win a gold. They've shown the ability to win gold. They've shown the ability at the Elite 16 level to compete with and beat some of the teams that we just mentioned that are above them on the rankings. And they're a team really, too, that is on the rise. They're on the way up. They're a team that keeps getting better. Every time you see them out there, Stefan Bormans' block gets more formidable, takes up more of the court, takes away more options from the other team. And that's a team that I've really loved to see grow, get better, improve. And that's why I have them in that, where are we at now, 6th spot as far as odds to win gold come Paris, come 30 days from now. 7th spot, I think, is probably where I'm going to put USA's Miles Partain and Andy Benesch. They've been good, and at times they've been very good. As I said, middle of last summer, they had a 3 Elite 16 stretch where they took a bronze, a silver, and a gold. When you can do that over the course of 3 to 4 weeks at that Elite 16 level, you got to think you can repeat it, especially when you're a team that's young, improving, getting better, working on their game. That's a team that only had paired up. So go back to the 2022 season. Partain and Benesch get together, in the fall, winter. Miles Partain is still in college. He still has his final season of indoor. I think it's UCLA, a setter, I believe. He ends up not playing his final season of indoor in college. Pairs up with Andy Benesch, who had been on the tour for a while, played a couple of years, won a couple of ABPs, one with Phil Dahlhauser, split blocking with the GOAT, the Thin Beast. And so Andy Benesch and Miles Partain get together. Miles Partain says, Andy Benesch, I want to do this, but I want to do this if we're going to do this in a certain way. And what is that way? Jump setting, option heavy, kind of in that same style of Sweden's Amon and Helvig. Andy Bennett says, let's do it. I never jump set before a day in my life, but I'm willing to learn. So Andy Bennett and Miles Partain get together, not like a month before this quad starts. So you're talking January, February 2023, very little time to prepare, and within 4 months, they're winning an Elite 16 gold, and they win 3 medals over the course of 3 consecutive Elite 16s. That's why I put them in that 7 spot. So we got Norway. We got Sweden, 1. Norway, 2. Czechia, Peruzic and Schweiner, 3. Georgian Andre, 4. Clemens Vickler, 5. Bormans and de Groot, 6. Miles and Andy, 7. After that, there's a conversation to be had between a very good Italian team in Nicolai and Codafava, who I probably wouldn't put in that 8 spot. Sharif and Ahmed from Qatar won a bronze in 2020, 2021 in Tokyo. They could be in that conversation for that 8 spot. Van de Velde and Immers, the Dutch pair, they've been playing pretty good volleyball lately, and another team that has, improving and progressing and getting better at the right time. So they're another team that might be in that conversation for that 8 spot. So, Evandro and Arthur from Brazil. That's a team that I really like, and that's a team that has won an Elite 16. I think they're the ones who won in that Brasilia Elite 16 recently. Brazil wins in Brazil, as I said, Evandro and Arthur. The thing about Evandro and Arthur is when Evandro's serve is working, they win. If Evandro's serve is not working, they struggle to win matches. And we have no idea what the conditions are going to be like in that Eiffel Tower Stadium. We have no idea what the wind's going to be like. Is it going to be swirling? Is it going to be going one direction? We don't have any idea what that jumping topspin serve, that scorching jumping topspin serve of Evandro's is going to look like. So without knowing that, I think he's probably in that 8 to 10 range as well on the men's side. And as I said, we'll work our way all the way down to Chase Budinger and Miles Evans. I think a great result for them is probably either a 5th or a 9th. They're bowing out in the round of 16 or the quarterfinals from Brazil. I think that'll do it for us here today. That's your Paris, France beach volleyball primer. That's your Paris, France beach volleyball cheat sheet, your Spark Notes. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments. DM me, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all the stuff. I'd love to get your input, your questions here. But to recap, coming up starting July 27th, 15 days, 108 stand-alone beach volleyball matches with the 24 best teams, men's and women's, so the 48 total best teams in the world, all in the same stadium at the foot of the iconic Eiffel Tower. 108 matches in 15 days. We're in for a good stretch of volleyball here. On the women's side, your favorites, Duda and Anna Patricia. On the men's side, Sweden. I'm not saying much there. I think as far as Americans go, Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes, TKN, they both have gold medal aspirations. Both could win it. Mel and Brandy could win it. On the men's side, Norway could win it. Peruzic and Schweiner, I think, could win it. But I think I'd be surprised if it's not Sweden or Norway sitting on top of that podium on the men's side. Partain and Benish, I think their peak is probably a bronze medal match. I think if they bow out with the bronze or a 4th, that's a great result for them. And I think for Chase Budinger and Miles Evans, a great result for them is either a 5th or a 9th. Again, that'll do it for me. July 3rd, 2024, as you head to wherever you're going to spend this Independence Day. I want to remind you to have a happy, safe, and healthy Independence Day. Enjoy the freedoms and the beautiful thing that is the United States of America. Beach volleyball, maybe get out in the sand, play a little beach volleyball for Independence Day. And also, coming up this weekend, too, don't forget, a couple of good tournaments. I should mention that. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, beach volleyball fans. Where would I be without you guys? We have 2 great tournaments. One started today. One starts on Friday, I believe. We got Stade. Stade is the longest-running international beach volleyball tournament. And if you look at that qualification list on the women's side, you're going to recognize a team you might remember. You might have heard. You ever heard of April Ross, Alex Kleiman? Yeah, they're back together playing on the international stage. They teased it on the Sandcast podcast a couple weeks ago with the great Travis Merwitter and Tri Bourne. But April and Alex applied for and have seemingly received the wild card. Now, again, I'm recording this a few days early, so if things have changed here, apologies. It is what it is. Trying to celebrate my Independence Day, my July 4th. But April and Alex are on the qualification list for Stade, and I would imagine that this is the last time, almost definitely, I don't want to say never, probably the last time that you will see April Ross playing on the international stage. And if that's the case, then it's the last time that you see April Ross and Alex Kleiman, the defending gold medalists from Tokyo, play an international tournament together. Now, will the Beach Pro Tour and the FIVB host a few events in America in this next quad leading up to the 2028 Paris or Los Angeles Olympics? 2028. I think they might. Hopefully they will. Hopefully we can figure out a way to make the Beach Pro Tour, an Elite 16, happen here on the soil, the great soil of the United States of America. If that happens, would April Ross maybe apply for another wild card to get in there? It's possible. I'd be surprised. I think this is the last time you see April Ross play on the international level. So if you have a chance, Stade, iconic venue, amazing tournament. April and Alex are in the qualifying list, seemingly have got that wild card. And the entry list on both sides, on the men's and women's side, is deep. So you're not like you're getting like a post quad, like watered down tournament kind of thing. This is a high level tournament. On the men's side, you got Alman and Helvig, George and Andre, Molsaram, Eris Vikler, Vanjo, Arthur. Everybody's in there. Everybody that you'd expect to be in there is in there on the men's side. As far as the qualifiers go, no surprises. We do have Logan Webber and Hagen Smith for the USA in the qualifiers right now. Jordan Hoppe and James Shaw on both entry lists at the moment. So by the time this comes out, maybe they'll have chosen. But they're on the list for Stade, and they're also on the list for AVP Denver, which we'll talk about in a minute. On the women's side, another deep entry list here. Seemingly Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes taking the week off, not on either entry list. Betsy and Julia for the USA in that main draw, as are all the teams we just talked about as far as the best odds to win gold. So all the best teams playing in Stade, as you would expect. Therese Cannon and Megan Kraft in the qualifiers. As I said, April and Alex also in the qualifiers. And then AVP Denver. We don't talk a lot about they used to call them Tour Series events. This year they're called Contender Series events on the AVP. We don't talk a lot about them because usually the entry lists aren't very deep. They're not teams that have a lot of name recognition per se, and we have a lot of other stuff to talk about, especially the last couple years in a quad. But the top of the men's list in Denver is very similar to that list that you saw in the Huntington Beach Open about a month ago. Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander already won their ticket to the league in Huntington. These Contender Series events do not offer you a direct berth into the league. They do not offer you points for the league, but what they do offer you is a pretty solid prize purse. So Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander going to go to Denver and play. Sean Cook and Cody Caldwell going to play. Hagen Smith and Logan Webber, another team that's on both entry lists. They'll be there. And I like this. A couple of interesting matchups on the men's side in Denver. Trevor Crabb partnering up with Adam Roberts. We haven't seen him play in a main draw in an event in a while. Evan Corey, who's been playing with Alisson, both domestically and in the Brazil domestic league. They'll be playing in Denver. My guy, Jake Uritia, playing with Avery Drost. Phil bowing this one out, so Jake Uritia gets to pick up Avery. That's a good matchup. That's a team that can win that. The Basie brothers are in there. Tim Brewster playing with Jake Dietrich. That's something we haven't seen. Troy Field playing with Ford Harmon, and Chase Frischman playing with Jeffrey Samuels on the men's side. So that's just a quick look at your entry list on the men's side. On the women's side, Abby Van Winkle and Savvy Simo at the top of the entry list. They're your favorites. I do like Devin Newberry and Jaden Whitmarsh to potentially win their first AVP, a contender, but an AVP nonetheless. And who else on this list? That's probably Megan Rice, Macy Jerger, Molly Shaw, and Chloe Loring, Tegan Van Gunst, Kim Hildreth. Yeah, looking at this list, this is Van Winkle, Savvy Simo, or Devin Newberry, Jaden Whitmarsh's tournament to lose on the women's side. Not nearly as deep on the women's side, since a lot of those women headed out to Stade to play in that qualifier in that iconic venue. So that is the last thing I wanted to get to. Excellent tournaments come this weekend. So if you're celebrating your Independence Day with a beverage in your hand near a TV, the AVP will be streaming that. I'm guessing probably on YouTube. I don't know for that to be sure. Once I do know, I'll put it up on my socials so you know where to find that. And of course, the Stade will be streaming on VBTV as they always do. I'll try to get you some odds to win posted on my socials as well. Won't have the opportunity to do any gambling on that Stade event, which is too bad because, as I said, I am red hot right now with my gambling picks, but we'll pick that back up in Vienna the following week. I'll be up in Maine on a raft, on a kayak, with a beer in my hand, Busch Light, cold Busch Light in my hand on the lake, enjoying my Independence Day. And for you, enjoy your Independence Day. We'll see you next week.